Alex's small exploration vessel drifted silently through the dark stretch of space. Stars glittered like scattered diamonds, but the emptiness pressed on him with a strange quiet. He was far from the nearest human colony, traveling in a sector mostly mapped by automated probes. It was supposed to be a routine mission: scan for resources, test new equipment, and return. Nothing more, but space had a way of changing plans. The sensors on his ship suddenly started picking up a massive object far larger than anything in the charts. It was a starship, a huge, ominous structure floating alone. Its surface shimmered faintly, almost like it was breathing, though Alex knew that was impossible. He double-checked the readings. The ship's energy signature was off the charts, ancient and dangerous. Legends among humans and aliens alike whispered about this vessel. They called it the Sentinel, a starship said to be alive in ways no artificial intelligence had ever been. It had appeared and disappeared in countless sectors, always rejecting those who tried to control it. Entire fleets of alien warriors had failed. Entire civilizations had given up on it. And yet there it was, massive and silent, floating like a challenge in the void. Alex's curiosity outweighed his fear. He had trained for moments like this, for encounters that could define his life. Just a quick scan, he murmured to himself, guiding his small vessel closer. The ship loomed above him, so large it made his own craft feel like a pebble. Then a voice echoed, not through the radio, but directly in his mind. It was calm, deep, and metallic with a strange rhythm. "Who approaches?" Alex froze. His hands tightened on the control stick. He blinked and whispered, I'm Alex, human exploration pilot." There was silence for a moment. Then the ship's hull seemed to shimmer, lights moving like patterns forming a face. "Human," it said. "You are different. Explain yourself." Alex swallowed hard. I come in peace. Just exploring." "I don't mean harm," the ship hummed. It was a sound that filled his bones, vibrating through the hull of his small craft. "Most life forms do not survive proximity. Why should you?" Alex felt the weight of the ship's judgment. Thousands of alien species had been rejected. Whole fleets had been destroyed. And yet it paused on him. I don't know," he admitted. I try to do what's right." The ship remained still, but he noticed something strange. The lights around it seemed to shift toward him. It wasn't attacking. That in itself was surprising. A holographic projection suddenly appeared inside his small vessel, forming shapes he had never seen before. Alien forms flickered in front of him, eyes glowing, weapons raised, expressions fierce. The ship was testing him. "Survive the trials," the voice intoned. "Prove your worth." Alex's heart raced. He had trained for emergencies, but nothing like this. The projections formed a maze of floating platforms, weapons, and obstacles. Gravity shifted unexpectedly. A wrong step could send him floating into the void where no one could rescue him. He adjusted his controls, remembering the drills. His mind raced through calculations, instincts, and creativity all at once. Where aliens had tried force or intimidation, Alex relied on observation and clever thinking. He dodged traps, used the shifting platforms to his advantage, and even manipulated the ship's projections in ways no other being had thought of. Hours, or maybe minutes, passed. Time felt strange inside the ship's domain. Alex was tired, but he was learning, adapting. The Sentinel observed, testing more than just his skill. It seemed to care about decisions he made, not just whether he survived. When an option appeared to destroy a dangerous projection to clear his path, Alex hesitated. Instead, he rerouted it, neutralizing the threat without unnecessary harm. "Interesting," the voice said, almost approvingly. "You value life, yet you survive." Alex exhaled. His hands were shaking, but he smiled faintly. I do what I must to survive, but I don't hurt if I can avoid it." For the first time, the Sentinel allowed him to approach its hull. He floated outside in his small suit, staring at the vast metallic surface. It was immense, ancient, and beautiful in a way that made him feel small but alive. Patterns moved across the hull like liquid light. He reached out, touching the surface through the energy field. It hummed beneath his fingertips. "You are human," the voice said, softer this time. "Your kind differs from all others." Alex felt a strange connection, like the ship could sense his thoughts and emotions. "Different isn't always bad," he said quietly. The Sentinel shimmered, almost like it was considering him. "Many seek control, many seek power. You seek understanding." Alex smiled, realizing he was being judged not only for skill but for his heart. and somehow in this vast ancient starship, his humanity was being tested. A sudden alert flashed on his suit's display. Sensors detected another presence. A small alien scout ship had arrived, likely following the Sentinel. Alex knew the alien would fail, as others had, but he also realized this could be dangerous for him. The Sentinel had allowed him access, but the alien might trigger a defensive response. He moved quickly, signaling to the alien ship. "Don't come closer," he shouted through the translator. "It's not yours to control." The alien ignored him. In an instant, the Sentinel's energy field flared, and the alien ship was hurled backward with incredible force. Alex watched in awe and fear. The ship was protective, but only for those it judged worthy. "You survived observation," the voice said to him. "But survival alone is not enough. You must understand what it means to command, to coexist, to think beyond instinct and power." Alex nodded, though he wasn't sure he fully understood. "I'll try," he said. "I want to learn." The Sentinel's hull shifted, forming a doorway-like structure, enormous yet precise. "Enter," it commanded. "You will learn the first lessons of partnership." Alex's heart pounded. He had never seen a ship act like this. Most vessels were machines, obedient and predictable. This was alive. It judged, it tested, it reacted. And somehow it saw something in him that no alien had ever offered. He guided his small vessel carefully through the glowing doorway. As he passed, the projections and tests vanished, leaving only the vast interior of the Sentinel. The inside was larger than any building he had seen, filled with chambers, glowing corridors, and mechanisms that seemed both technological and organic. "You will face more trials," the ship warned, "not of skill alone, but of choice, of morality, of ingenuity." Alex took a deep breath. His hands were steady, even if his heart raced. "I am ready," he said. The Sentinel seemed to hum in approval. Lights shimmered, corridors shifted, and a feeling of anticipation filled the air. Alex realized he had just entered a world unlike any human or alien had ever seen. And perhaps for the first time, the Sentinel had found someone worth its attention. As he floated deeper into the ship, he couldn't help but think, maybe humans, fragile and underestimated, had something that no alien could ever offer. Curiosity, courage, and a willingness to act with both heart and mind. And somehow he felt the Sentinel knew that too. The part ends with Alex standing in the central chamber facing a massive holographic projection that seemed to shimmer with life. "Your trial begins," it said. "And perhaps your story with me begins as well." Alex smiled faintly, feeling excitement and fear together. He was ready to prove that humans were not just survivors, they could be partners, even with the most dangerous starship in the galaxy. And in the vast emptiness of space, the Sentinel waited, no longer entirely alone. Alex stepped further into the Sentinel, his small human frame dwarfed by the vastness of the ship. The interior was not like any starship he had ever imagined. The corridors shifted as if alive, walls breathing with light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Strange symbols floated in the air, rearranging themselves constantly. Every step he took was watched, or so it felt. "You will face your first trial," the ship's voice echoed through the chamber. It was calm, yet it carried an authority that made Alex's chest tighten. "This trial tests not your strength, but your judgment." Alex took a deep breath and nodded. "I'm ready." A holographic map appeared in front of him, projecting a complex network of paths. At first glance, it seemed like a maze, but Alex noticed subtle cues. Certain paths shimmered slightly, almost like they were alive. He realized that the maze wasn't just a physical challenge, it was a test of observation, intuition, and understanding. "Choose wisely," the ship said. "Every decision has consequences." He began carefully, stepping along one path. The floor beneath him shifted slightly, testing his balance. Suddenly, a holographic figure appeared, an alien soldier with glowing armor and weapons. It lunged at him. Alex ducked, rolled, and noticed that the figure moved according to a pattern. Instead of attacking blindly, he observed and anticipated, then redirected the figure using the ship's environment to disarm it harmlessly. "Interesting," the Sentinel commented. "You consider alternatives rather than destruction. Few have done this." As Alex moved deeper into the maze, he encountered more challenges. Some were physical, platforms that floated in zero gravity, corridors that rotated unpredictably, and walls that moved like shifting sand. Others were mental, puzzles that required understanding alien logic and technology far beyond human design. At one point, he found a puzzle where he needed to connect energy conduits in a precise pattern to open a door. Alien species that had come before him failed because they forced the conduits through brute strength, or tried to destroy the system. Alex, however, observed the pattern, tested small adjustments, and eventually connected the conduits by understanding the underlying logic. The door opened silently, almost in approval. "Most who enter here fail quickly," the ship said. "Your kind is unpredictable." Alex felt a thrill. Being unpredictable, being human, was now his advantage. He realized that his creativity, adaptability, and empathy were being measured just as much as his physical skill. Hours, or maybe minutes, time felt different inside the ship. Passed. Alex had to navigate through corridors that changed dynamically, confront holographic enemies, and solve puzzles that required both intelligence and moral choice. One holographic scenario presented him with a situation where an alien crew was trapped in a simulated fire. He could save them easily by overriding the simulation, but doing so risked a trap that could disable the ship. He hesitated for a moment, weighing risk and morality. Then, relying on his quick thinking, he found a solution. He manipulated the holographic environment to lead the aliens to safety while keeping the trap intact. "You value life," the Sentinel said, "yet you maintain efficiency. A rare combination." Alex continued through the maze, now noticing subtle signs of the ship's intelligence. The corridor seemed to respond to his choices, almost encouraging him in some areas while challenging him in others. It was as if the Sentinel were alive in a way that went beyond programming. It understood him. At one point, he reached a chamber filled with alien weapons and machines, each pulsing with strange energy. A holographic message appeared. "Choose one tool to aid your survival. Use wisely." Alex carefully examined the devices. Some were powerful but dangerous, designed for destruction. Others were subtle, amplifying intelligence, speed, or precision. He chose a small, multi-purpose tool that enhanced his problem-solving abilities rather than his firepower. The ship's voice seemed almost approving. "Wisely chosen," it said. "Most seek power. You seek understanding. This is the difference." The trial grew harder. The corridors became a three-dimensional labyrinth, rotating, folding, and stretching in impossible ways. Holographic enemies advanced from multiple directions simultaneously. Alex relied on his instincts, creativity, and human intuition. Where aliens would react predictably, he improvised, dodged, and turned situations to his advantage. A particularly difficult challenge involved a holographic alien fleet surrounding him. They appeared aggressive and overwhelming. Most species would have attacked or surrendered. Alex analyzed their formation and the environment, noticing patterns in their movement. Using a combination of evasive maneuvers and environmental manipulation, he disarmed the fleet without harming them, redirecting them safely away from the ship's core. "You are unlike any I have encountered," the Sentinel said. "Your species has traits I value: adaptability, empathy, ingenuity, courage. These are rare among advanced civilizations." Alex smiled faintly, exhausted but determined. I'm just trying to do what's right," he said. The ship's corridor suddenly opened into a massive chamber the size of a small city. Light flowed like liquid along the walls, and floating platforms created a path to a central pedestal. On the pedestal was a glowing sphere, pulsating with energy. "This is your reward for completing the first trial," the Sentinel said. "The sphere contains knowledge and abilities that few have accessed. But to take it, you must prove your judgment once more." Alex floated toward the pedestal, his mind alert. He noticed a pattern. Touching the sphere too quickly would trigger defensive systems. He paused, considering. Instead of rushing, he approached carefully, reading the subtle cues in the energy pulses. With precise timing, he touched the sphere and it integrated with his suit and mind, enhancing his understanding of the Sentinel's systems. "You have passed," the Sentinel said, "but this is only the beginning. You are not only surviving, you are learning. You are becoming a partner." Alex felt a sense of awe. The ship was no longer just a vessel. It was a living intelligence seeking a companion. He realized that the Sentinel did not value strength alone nor dominance. It valued a mind that could adapt, a heart that could care, and a spirit that could endure. As he explored further, He noticed small details that hinted at the ship's long history: alien inscriptions, remnants of civilizations long gone, and technology that seemed older than time itself. Each artifact told a story, but only those with understanding and insight could grasp their meaning. The Sentinel's voice spoke again, this time softer, almost reflective. Most life forms fail because they seek to dominate. You seek comprehension. You are different, human, Alex nodded. I don't want to control. I want to understand and help. A sudden alert flashed across his suit. An external scan detected an alien vessel approaching. Unlike previous visitors, this one was not aggressive. It appeared curious, cautious. Alex realized the Sentinel was observing not just him, but how he would interact with others. He activated a communication link with the incoming ship. This vessel is not yours to claim, he said firmly. The Sentinel is not a prize. It is alive. You must respect it. The alien hesitated, then slowly retreated. Alex knew that if he had acted differently, through fear, aggression, or arrogance, the Sentinel might not have tolerated the intrusion. His choices, both in the trials and in this encounter, had proven the qualities the ship valued most. Finally, Alex floated to a viewing platform within the ship. From here, he could see the galaxy stretching endlessly, stars and planets bathed in light, and behind him, the Sentinel pulsed gently, as if acknowledging his presence. You have completed the second stage of evaluation, the ship said. You are not yet fully trusted, but you are learning. You and I may yet form a partnership, one the galaxy has never seen before. Alex felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. He had faced trials that would have defeated most beings, and yet he had succeeded. The Sentinel had begun to see him not as a human to be rejected, but as a being capable of understanding, of partnership, and perhaps even of friendship. As he floated in the vast chamber, he realized one thing clearly. Humans may seem small, weak, and fragile compared to the galaxy's mighty civilizations, but their courage, ingenuity, and moral sense made them something the universe could never ignore. And perhaps in this ship, Alex was about to show the galaxy just how valuable humanity could be. The part ended with the ship's pulse growing steady, almost like a heartbeat. Alex knew this was only the beginning. The Sentinel was teaching him, testing him, and watching him, and somehow he felt that he had taken the first step toward something extraordinary. A bond between human and starship that could change the course of the galaxy itself. Alex had spent what felt like hours exploring the Sentinel. Every corner of the ship seemed to hold secrets, and yet he realized he had barely scratched the surface. The corridors pulsed with light, and the walls shifted subtly as if the ship itself was alive and aware of his presence. He no longer felt like an intruder. He felt like a guest cautiously welcomed into something greater than himself. You have learned quickly, the Sentinel said. Its voice carried a sense of approval but also challenge. But understanding alone is not enough. You must learn to act in situations that test not only skill, but judgment, courage, and trust. Alex nodded. I'm ready, he replied. He could feel the weight of the ship's expectations, but he welcomed it. This was unlike anything he had faced before, and he knew that human ingenuity and adaptability were his greatest tools. The ship's interior shifted again, opening into a massive observation deck. Below, the galaxy stretched endlessly. Planets and stars glimmered in a sea of darkness, while distant asteroid fields drifted silently. It was beautiful, almost overwhelming. Alex floated forward, his eyes wide. This is the next trial, the Sentinel explained. You must venture outside. You will face danger beyond your comprehension, and your actions will determine whether you are worthy to pilot me fully. Alex's heart raced. Leaving the safety of the ship's interior meant entering the void of space where even a small mistake could be fatal. Yet he felt a thrill he had never known. I understand, he said. Show me the way. The Sentinel extended a docking bay for his small exploration vessel. Its doors opened like a giant maw, revealing the black expanse outside. Energy barriers shimmered, protecting him from the void, but he knew that beyond those barriers he would rely only on his skill, wit, and instincts. As he exited the docking bay, sensors picked up a fleet approaching. Alien warships, sleek, aggressive, and heavily armed, had detected the Sentinel. Their captains had heard legends of the ship, but underestimated its intelligence and its new occupant. They believed they could claim the Sentinel as a weapon for their own civilizations. Alex realized this was the true test. He wasn't just navigating the Sentinel. He was defending it, and in a way, defending the galaxy from those who sought to dominate it. The alien fleet fired first, energy beams streaking toward him. Alex's hands moved quickly on the controls, guiding the Sentinel's defense systems. Unlike conventional ships, the Sentinel responded to thought and intuition as much as commands. Alex realized he could anticipate its actions, guiding it with a combination of instinct and logic. He dodged incoming attacks, weaving through the beams with precise movements. The Sentinel's hull responded to his decisions, shielding him where necessary and amplifying his evasive maneuvers. The aliens were skilled, but they had never faced a human controlling a ship of this magnitude. "You act with courage," the Sentinel said. "Your species values life and strategy equally. This is why you are different." Alex took a deep breath, scanning the battlefield. The alien fleet was strong but predictable in their aggression. Using the ship's systems, he created diversions, making some ships collide with asteroid fields while others were trapped in holographic illusions. The aliens struggled to adapt, while Alex's human intuition allowed him to think beyond their calculations. At one point, an enemy ship managed to breach the defensive perimeter. Alex's heart raced as it fired directly at the Sentinel's core. Instinctively, he activated a protective energy field, diverting the blast harmlessly into space. He realized that the Sentinel trusted him not just to survive but to make choices that preserved life wherever possible. "You are learning to lead," the ship said. "And leadership requires understanding not only strategy, but consequence." The battle continued, testing Alex's endurance and creativity. The alien fleet was relentless, but he began to see patterns in their attacks. Using careful timing and precise control, he manipulated their movements, forcing them into positions where they could not advance without risking collision or damage. One by one, the alien ships retreated, confused and defeated by a single human and his bond with the Sentinel. Alex exhaled deeply, realizing the scope of what had just happened. He had not destroyed a single enemy vessel unnecessarily. He had only outsmarted them, using intelligence and strategy. This was what the Sentinel valued, a combination of courage, ingenuity, and morality. "You have acted with both intelligence and heart," the ship said. "Few have done so. You have earned my trust, though it is not yet complete." After the battle, Alex returned to the Sentinel's interior. He floated along the corridors, feeling a growing sense of connection. The ship was no longer an impersonal vessel. It was a partner, an ally that could respond to thought, intuition, and emotion. "You are learning quickly," the Sentinel said, "but you must understand me fully. To pilot me completely, you must face one final trial, a challenge that tests your understanding of myself, of life, and of the galaxy we protect together." Alex felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. He had already faced physical challenges, complex puzzles, and now a life-or-death battle. What could possibly be next? The Sentinel led him to a chamber filled with floating spheres, each containing holographic projections of different civilizations. Some were thriving, some were struggling, and some had already fallen to ruin. "You must make choices," the ship explained. "Decide which civilizations to aid and which to leave to their own devices. Your judgment will determine not only your readiness but the future of countless lives." Alex studied the spheres carefully. He realized that each choice had consequences. Aid the wrong civilization at the wrong time and it could cause greater harm elsewhere. Ignore a struggling planet and innocent lives could be lost. His mind raced, weighing possibilities and outcomes. Using the knowledge and intuition he had developed through the previous trials, Alex began making decisions. He prioritized civilizations that showed potential for cooperation, intelligence, and empathy. He avoided interfering with those whose evolution could take its own course without catastrophic consequences. Each choice felt like a delicate balance, requiring both insight and restraint. "You understand?" the Sentinel said softly. "You see beyond immediate gain. You act with wisdom and consideration. This is why humans are unique." Alex felt a sense of pride, but also humility. He realized that the Sentinel's trials were not just about survival. They were about understanding the responsibility that came with power. A starship like this could destroy worlds, but it could also protect them. And only a being capable of wisdom, empathy, and courage could truly wield it. As he finished the trial, the floating spheres dissolved, leaving Alex alone in the chamber. The Sentinel's lights pulsed warmly, almost like a heartbeat. "You have done well, human," it said. You are ready to learn more, to explore further, and to take the next step in our partnership. But remember, trust and understanding are never complete. They grow with experience, with action, and with choice. Alex nodded. I understand. I will do my best. The ship extended a platform leading to a massive observation window. Outside, the galaxy stretched endlessly. Alex felt small, but he no longer felt insignificant. He had proven his worth in ways no alien had before. The Sentinel had chosen him not only for his skill but for his humanity, his courage, ingenuity, and heart. You are different, the ship said. And in this galaxy, difference can be a powerful force. Alex floated at the observation window, watching stars drift past. He realized that humans were often underestimated, seen as fragile, weak, and unremarkable. Yet time and again he had demonstrated that creativity, empathy, and courage could overcome brute strength, technology, and experience. You and I, the ship continued, may yet change the galaxy, but that change requires wisdom, restraint, and careful judgment. Do you accept this responsibility? Alex smiled faintly, feeling a sense of destiny. I accept, he said firmly. The Sentinel pulsed in response, lights flowing across its walls like liquid energy. For the first time, Alex felt not just like a passenger or a trainee, but a partner. He understood that this ship was more than a machine. It was a being that required understanding, empathy, and mutual respect. And he was ready to rise to that challenge. The part ended with Alex floating in the observation chamber, feeling both exhilaration and anticipation. Beyond the stars, the galaxy awaited. And together with the Sentinel, he would face whatever challenges came next. Humans had often been underestimated, but here, aboard the Sentinel, Alex knew that humanity's true strength was just beginning to reveal itself. Alex had spent days exploring the Sentinel, learning its systems and understanding its way of thinking. He had completed trials, navigated puzzles, and even defended the ship against a small alien fleet. Yet he knew the true challenge was still ahead. The Sentinel had always hinted at external threats, enemies that had failed to comprehend its full power. Now Alex would face them. A sudden alert flashed across his suit's display. Sensors detected a massive energy surge nearby. At first it appeared to be a natural phenomenon, a dense asteroid cluster glowing with strange energy. But the Sentinel corrected him immediately. This is no natural occurrence, it said. An armed fleet approaches, far more dangerous than any you have encountered. Their intent is to claim me, to bend my power for their own purposes. You must act quickly. Alex felt his pulse quicken. He had faced danger before, but this fleet was different. They were skilled, aggressive, and organized. Unlike the previous group, they were not testing him. They wanted control, and they would not stop until they achieved it. Prepare my systems, Alex commanded, his voice steady despite the tension. The Sentinel responded almost instantly, expanding energy shields around itself and his small exploration vessel. Weapon systems hummed, floating platforms and turrets adjusting in synchronization with his movements. As the fleet approached, Alex scanned their formations. Their strategy was precise, anticipating attacks and predicting maneuvers. Most species would have panicked under such pressure, but Alex had learned to rely on his human instincts. He studied their patterns, using creativity and quick thinking rather than sheer force. The first wave of enemy ships fired simultaneously, energy beams cutting through space toward the Sentinel. Alex guided the ship with precise control, maneuvering in ways the aliens could not anticipate. The Sentinel's energy fields redirected the beams harmlessly, while holographic decoys created illusions of his position, confusing the attackers. You are learning to act under pressure, the ship said. Courage and intellect combined are rare. Most fail at the first sign of overwhelming force. Alex's fingers flew across the controls. He noticed a weak point in the enemy formation, a gap in their defensive line. Instead of attacking directly, he led a small group of ships into a trap, using asteroids as cover while the Sentinel's turrets disabled their engines. The fleet faltered, unsure of the source of the attack. One of the enemy ships broke through the barrier and fired at the Sentinel's core. Alex acted instinctively, rerouting energy to strengthen the shields in that sector while simultaneously using a holographic decoy to lure the ship away. The alien vessel collided with an asteroid spinning helplessly into space. You think beyond force, the Sentinel said. You act with strategy, restraint, and intelligence. These are human qualities I value. As the battle continued, Alex realized that his human intuition was a unique advantage. The aliens had relied on predictable calculations and aggression, while he adapted constantly, combining observation, creativity, and moral judgment. Each decision preserved life where possible, avoided unnecessary destruction, and exploited opportunities the aliens could not see. Suddenly, the flagship of the enemy fleet emerged, larger and more heavily armed than all the others combined. Its energy signature rivaled the Sentinels. Alex understood the danger. This was a captain who had studied the legends of the Sentinel, who believed that sheer power could claim it. "You will face the greatest threat," the Sentinel said. "Your choices now will determine not only your survival, but whether you may fully command me." Alex's mind raced. The flagship fired a massive beam, cutting through the void like a comet of destruction. Alex activated evasive maneuvers, weaving through the attack while simultaneously adjusting the Sentinel's shields. He realized the ship's power was incredible, but even it had limits. Brute force alone would not win this battle. Instead of attacking directly, Alex observed the flagship's energy output and movement patterns. He noticed a subtle lag in its targeting, a brief moment where its focus shifted after firing. Using this, he guided the Sentinel to flank the vessel, exploiting weak points in its shields. A single precise strike disabled one of its engines, causing the massive ship to lose stability. "You are not reckless," the Sentinel said. "You do not rely on brute force alone. You understand balance, strategy, and consequence. Few beings in the galaxy possess this." The flagship recovered quickly and fired again, this time targeting Alex's small vessel directly. He took a deep breath, remembering the lessons of previous trials. Instead of evading, he manipulated the Sentinel's systems to absorb the energy, converting it into a controlled burst that sent the enemy flagship spinning into the asteroid field. Other ships in the fleet hesitated, unsure how to respond. Alex seized the opportunity, coordinating the Sentinel's automated defenses and holographic decoys to create confusion and panic among the attackers. One by one, the enemy vessels retreated, unable to comprehend the combination of human creativity and the Sentinel's power. As the last ship fled, Alex floated in the observation deck, catching his breath. He had faced overwhelming danger, yet survived not through brute force but through intelligence, courage, and quick thinking. The Sentinel pulsed gently around him, lights flowing in a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. "You have proven yourself," the ship said, "not only in skill but in judgment and courage. You are capable of understanding me as few others can. This is why I chose you." Alex nodded, feeling a sense of pride but also responsibility. He realized that this bond with the Sentinel was not just about controlling a powerful ship. It was about partnership, understanding, and the ability to act wisely in a galaxy full of danger and uncertainty. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I will not disappoint you." The Sentinel's interior shifted again, leading him to a new chamber. This one was unlike any he had seen before. Massive screens displayed stars, planets, and entire fleets, while holographic projections of civilizations appeared and shifted. The ship was showing him the galaxy, not just as a map but as a living system of life, politics, and challenges. "You must understand your role," the ship explained. "Power is meaningless without wisdom. You have proven that you can act with intelligence and courage. Now you must learn to act with responsibility and foresight." Alex studied the projections. He saw civilizations struggling with internal conflict, planets on the brink of collapse, and star systems threatened by natural disasters. The Sentinel was teaching him that being a partner to such a ship meant more than piloting. It meant making decisions that could impact countless lives. "You must learn to protect, guide, and judge wisely," the ship continued. "The galaxy is not simply a battlefield. It is a system of life, and your actions have consequences beyond what you can see." Alex nodded, absorbing the lesson. "I understand," he said. "I will use my knowledge and my instincts to make the right choices." As he floated among the projections, the Sentinel's voice softened. "You are human, and yet you possess qualities I value above strength or power. Ingenuity, courage, empathy. These are the traits that can change the galaxy. You are a reminder that humans are not to be underestimated." A new alert flashed across the chamber, a distant distress signal. Alex immediately recognized the urgency. A nearby planet was under threat, its inhabitants in danger from a natural catastrophe. Without hesitation, he guided the Sentinel toward the source. The ship responded instantly, aligning its systems with his decisions and amplifying his actions. Together, Alex and the Sentinel navigated the planet's atmosphere, using advanced energy shields to stabilize its weather patterns and prevent destruction. The inhabitants below watched in awe as the massive ship hovered above, its lights glowing like a guardian. "You act not for glory, but for preservation," the Sentinel said. "This is why you are worthy of my trust. Few beings would have risked themselves to protect others without gain." Alex felt a sense of fulfillment unlike anything he had experienced. He had not only survived, but he had acted with courage, intelligence, and compassion. The Sentinel pulsed warmly around him, almost as if acknowledging his growth. "You are ready for the next stage," the ship said. "But remember, trust and understanding are never complete. They grow with experience, with action, and with choice. Our partnership is just beginning, human." Alex smiled faintly, floating in the observation chamber. He had faced enemies, protected lives, and learned the true responsibility of power. He understood that humans, often underestimated, had the capacity to act with ingenuity, courage, and heart in ways no other species could. And with the Sentinel by his side, he felt ready to face whatever the galaxy might throw at them next. The part ended with Alex looking out at the stars, knowing that the trials were not over. The Sentinel had tested him, taught him, and now trusted him. Together they would explore the unknown, protect the vulnerable, and demonstrate to the galaxy the strength of humanity, not in raw power, but in courage, creativity, and heart. Alex floated in the central chamber of the Sentinel, the vast starship that had become more than a vessel. It had become a partner, a living being with intelligence, judgment, and purpose. Over the past days, he had faced trials that tested his skill, courage, and morality. He had survived battles, solved complex puzzles, and learned to act with wisdom and foresight. Now the Sentinel pulsed around him, waiting for the next step. "You have proven your worth, human," the ship said. "You understand my systems, my purpose, and the responsibilities of power. But the galaxy will test us further. You must be ready to act not just as a pilot, but as a guardian." Alex nodded. "I am ready," he said, his voice steady. He felt the weight of the responsibility, yet he also felt exhilarated. This partnership was unlike anything any human or alien had ever experienced. The Sentinel shifted, opening a massive observation deck that overlooked the galaxy. Planets, stars, and distant fleets stretched as far as the eye could see. Alex realized the scale of what they were protecting. The galaxy was not just a collection of planets. It was a living system of civilizations, each fragile in its own way. A sudden alert flashed across the ship's systems. A fleet of unknown origin was entering Sentinel-controlled space. Their energy signatures were strong, and their intent was aggressive. Alex's heart raced, but he felt prepared. He had learned to trust the Sentinel, and the Sentinel trusted him. "Show me your understanding," the ship said. "Your decisions now will define the outcome." Alex guided the Sentinel toward the approaching fleet. Unlike previous encounters, this group was organized, intelligent, and ready for combat. They fired first, energy beams streaking across space. Alex instinctively maneuvered the ship, weaving through the attacks while coordinating the Sentinel's defenses. Holographic decoys and energy shields diverted the enemy fire, while automated turrets disabled smaller vessels. "You act with both courage and strategy," the Sentinel said. "Most would panic. Most would rely on brute force. You are different." Alex scanned the fleet, looking for weaknesses. He noticed a pattern in their formation. They focused heavily on frontal attacks, leaving their sides vulnerable. Instead of a direct assault, he used the Sentinel's agility and advanced systems to flank the enemy, creating confusion and disarray. One by one, the enemy ships were neutralized or forced to retreat without unnecessary destruction. "You have learned to protect and not destroy," the Sentinel said. "This is why humans are remarkable. Your species acts with ingenuity and morality in equal measure." The flagship of the enemy fleet remained larger and heavily armed, determined to claim the Sentinel. Alex understood the danger. This was a captain who had studied the legends, expecting power alone to win. But Alex knew the secret. The Sentinel was alive, and it had chosen him as its partner. Using a combination of tactics, Alex guided the Sentinel to disable the flagship's engines without destroying it. He created illusions of multiple Sentinel positions, forcing the flagship to retreat into a minefield of holographic projections. Finally, the flagship surrendered, and the remaining enemy ships scattered. You acted with intelligence, precision, and restraint, the Sentinel said. You are ready to face greater responsibilities. Together, we are not just a ship and a pilot. We are a guardian of the galaxy. Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had not only survived the trials, but he had acted in a way that demonstrated humanity's greatest strengths: courage, creativity, empathy, and the ability to make wise decisions under pressure. The Sentinel's light pulsed around him almost like a heartbeat, acknowledging the bond they had formed. Now, the ship continued, we will venture further into unexplored space. You will face challenges that no human or alien has faced before. And together, we will shape the course of civilizations, protect those in need, and explore the unknown. Alex smiled faintly. I'm ready, he said. He felt the weight of the galaxy around him, but he was no longer afraid. He had learned to trust his instincts, his intellect, and his moral compass. And most importantly, he had learned to trust the Sentinel. The ship moved smoothly through space, faster than Alex had ever experienced. Stars stretched into lines of light as they entered faster-than-light travel. The galaxy unfolded before them, full of mystery, danger, and life waiting to be protected. Soon, they arrived at a region previously unexplored by humans. Strange nebulae glowed with colors Alex had never seen. Massive asteroid fields drifted silently, and distant stars twinkled with a brilliance that seemed almost alive. Alex guided the Sentinel carefully, marveling at the beauty and the potential dangers around every corner. A distress signal appeared on the ship's display. A planet was under threat from a massive meteor storm, capable of destroying entire cities. Alex immediately took action, guiding the Sentinel to the planet. The ship's energy shields extended, deflecting incoming meteors while Alex coordinated precise energy pulses to break larger meteors into harmless fragments. The planet's inhabitants watched in awe as the massive starship protected them. Alex realized that this was the culmination of everything he had learned. Courage, ingenuity, and morality combined to save lives and protect civilizations. You acted without hesitation, the Sentinel said. You understand responsibility. You are now not just a pilot, but a guardian. Alex felt a sense of pride and humility. He had faced challenges that would have overwhelmed most beings, yet he had succeeded. More importantly, he had acted in a way that preserved life, avoided unnecessary conflict, and used his intellect and creativity to solve impossible problems. As they left the planet, the Sentinel guided Alex to a massive chamber filled with historical archives, holographic records of civilizations, technological discoveries, and lost knowledge from thousands of worlds. Alex realized that the Sentinel was offering him access to knowledge that could change the course of humanity. You are ready, the ship said. With your guidance, humanity may rise beyond its known limits. You are now my partner, my pilot, and my companion. Together we will explore, protect, and discover. The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long, but now you will show them their true potential. Alex floated in the chamber, absorbing the knowledge. He felt a connection not just to the Sentinel, but to all the civilizations they could protect together. He realized that humans, often underestimated, had a unique combination of traits that allowed them to adapt, create, and act with both courage and empathy. You have proven that humanity is not just survivors, the Sentinel said. You are innovators, protectors, and partners, and now the galaxy will witness the strength of this union. Alex smiled, feeling a sense of destiny. He had faced impossible trials, survived overwhelming dangers, and demonstrated the best qualities of humanity. Now, with the Sentinel as his partner, he would continue to explore the unknown, protect those in need, and show the galaxy that humans were a force to be reckoned with, not because of raw power, but because of courage, ingenuity, and heart. The Sentinel's lights pulsed in affirmation, and Alex felt a deep bond with the starship. He knew that their journey was only beginning, but he was ready for whatever the galaxy might present. Together they would chart new worlds, face unknown threats, and demonstrate the strength of humanity across the stars. In that moment, Alex understood something profound. It was not size, strength, or technology that made a species great. It was the combination of courage, creativity, empathy, and the ability to act wisely under pressure. Humans had all of these traits in abundance, and now, with the Sentinel as an ally, their potential was limitless. The stars stretched endlessly before him, full of possibilities. Alex smiled faintly. feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of adventure. He was a human, small in the vastness of the galaxy but mighty in spirit, and with the Sentinel by his side, he was ready to show the universe the true power of humanity. The final pulse of the Sentinel echoed around him, steady and confident, as if signaling the start of a new era. Alex took a deep breath and prepared for the adventures ahead. Together they would face the unknown, protect civilizations and prove that humans were a force the galaxy could not ignore. And for the first time in its long history, the Sentinel was not alone.